I've just looked and got a face full of his balls.
It must come from somewhere that you're f***ing up the planet and the people. I'm a scientist, sort of. The cold water, that healed me. I set out a goal, and that is to change the world. I'm so horny.
Wim Hof, the Iceman, is a Dutch motivational speaker and extreme athlete known for his ability to withstand freezing temperatures.
He holds 21 Guinness World Records, including climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in shorts, running a half marathon in the Arctic barefoot, and for the longest time in direct full-body contact with ice.
He teaches people from all over the world to control their bodies and minds and achieve extraordinary things.
He's proved science wrong, and we're about to reveal it all in his most explosive podcast yet.
Let me do that again.
Where we going, lads?
Amsterdam, baby!
Alright, so we've just landed in Amsterdam, on our way to the hotel, and then on our way to the Wim Hof Centre.
And the only two people to leave the UK come to a place where it's got worse weather.
Maybe, that way.
Wim's not only the Iceman, he's the parking attendant. I've got to say, this has been one of the most incredible days ever. We've been pretty much chilling out with Wim for the whole day. And
The legend that's Wim Hof, by the way.
But can we give him a clap, by the way?
Yeah.
Like, this is our first ever guest on the WAK Chat podcast as well. So.
Yeah, this is a massive moment, Wim, because we've never ever had a guest on our podcast. You are the first that we've allowed on our podcast.
I break the ice.
Amazing.
Now,
Legendary. Oh,
love it, man. Now, Wim, tell us, where it all started with you.
It started with my dad meeting my mother. No. Fast
one of those days.
Fast forward. Yeah. It actually started at my birth. Mm-hmm. I was not expected to be there. My twin brother, identical twin brother, was already there, but they thought there was only one. Mm-hmm. But there was two, another one. He was deeply within. I must have liked the warmth of the Wim. The Wim. You know, the Wim. Wim Hof. Wim. But the thing is, I was born unexpected in the cold of the hall, almost suffocated with the invocating words of my mother. Oh God, let this child live. I will make him a missionary. She was naive and pious. And there she was. And those words must have been tattooed upon my soul right over there. A purple little being coming to this planet, to the light. And then, and since then, identical twin, yes or no, I was always different. Of course, because of this trauma I experienced at the time of my birth. That's the way it started. And it made me always look for something different, something out there. What? I did not know. I became a thinker. At 12, I was thinking, doing psychology, Hinduism, Buddhism, anything I could get my mind upon. Mm-hmm. Starting, and there I began to say, hey, if the people think that war, abuse, pollution, intoxication, cruelty to animals, depression, disease is all normal, then I think it is a sick world. I'm going to do something about it. What? I do not know. I just do it. 5 years later, I came across, I became already a thinker and very much philosophizing. Then I got this moment in the morning outside in the Beatrix Park in Amsterdam. Nobody was around, Sunday morning, easy like Sunday. But I saw a thin layer of ice on the water, and I looked around, nobody around, everybody of course sleeping over a working week. I went in the water. I stripped myself and went in the water. And then
so is this your first experience of the ice, of the cold?
Yes.
Right.
This was my first conscious experience. this is it. This is what I'm looking for. And that, of course, must have related directly to my trauma or from my birth, being born in the cold of the hall, almost suffocated. Because the first thing you do when you go into cold water is you become alive to the depth of yourself. And that's what I've been doing. I felt so good that day doing that, just for 1 minute. Then the other day I came back, I felt the same. And from there, every day, this is 46 years ago. And I'm still doing it every day, every winter. And I love it. It is, if sometimes I don't do the cold because of this and that, and suddenly I go into the cold, then I say, man, you must be a genius, Wim, because it always works.
Yes.
It always brings down this inflamed being because of too much anxiety, too much thoughts, too much worries, too much mortgages, too much this and that, deadlines. Cold is a lifeline. And I took it on. So from 17 on, since that day, I began to cultivate this deep breathing and became conscious. After a couple of months, I could stay for 5 to 7 minutes under the ice every day, fully in control. Because you learn to breathe so deep, you change your blood chemistry. And I did that for, say, 25 years on my own. Nobody around. Everybody's saying, hey, that man is crazy. He goes into freezing water. No. And then one day I came in connection with the newspaper because the people had told he is going into cold water every day and he does all kinds of the things you saw me doing. I was doing that on the ice after the icy water. Doing splits, putting 2 legs in all kinds of twisted kind of exercising in which you need your blood running. And that is, the cold doesn't stiff you up. It makes your blood running so much that your limbs and all become so flexible because it's like oil.
I think this is a good point. A good time to kind of let our viewers and our listeners know. So the Wim Hof method, this is everything that we're going to be covering now and what have you. So as you heard, Wim was talking obviously about going into the cold, and what we want to get to by the end of this podcast is for people to understand we're looking to spread the message of all the amazing benefits that going into the cold, using the breathing techniques and the power of the mind, how much that can help you in your day-to-day life, how you don't have to always just turn to different drugs what you can get from a pharmaceutical company and what have you, by doing simple breathing techniques, how these things can help your health and in your your mind, your body, your soul, by doing these things sort of thing. So everything what Wim's obviously talking about on here is just stuff to really take note of and understand how it can benefit you from a health point of view, right?
And when did it all, like obviously at the start when people called you, said you was crazy, right? And then
I'm still, by the way.
He's still crazy.
Good fucked up. Crazy. But life and my wife. Yeah.
Good crazy though.
He's a good crazy.
From the moment we turned up today, Wim has just given so much energy to us.
Yeah.
And we love it.
The most humble, down-to-earth guy as well. It's been the most incredible day. But, you know, people at the start called you crazy and you stuck with it and then you proved science wrong. It must have been so hard for you at the beginning, you know, when people were
you know, when you lose your wife, as I did, because of a suicide, because of a mental disorder, getting all the pills and injections, and it doesn't help at all, only got worse, then you lose the mother of your 4 children. You're desperate, you're heartbroken, you're really into agony, and society just goes on. There's nothing, nobody is going to help you. You got to help yourself. So there I found that my children made me survive, and the cold water, that healed me. Because on the moment when you go into the cold water, as you experienced today as well, you don't think. You are just being. You know, who was it again? To be or not to be.
To be or not to be?
Yes, Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Cheers, Joe.
He must have been shaking a spear
Yeah.
many times, you know. But when we go into the cold water, it becomes also little. Okay, that's a stupid joke.
I can confirm that's true. I went in the ice today.
I slipped on the ice, guys. We make jokes, but
Wim, I think you're in the
real
wrong
thing-
industry. I think you should be a comedian.
Yeah. I was just now with Lee Mack.
Oh, yeah? Amazing.
The whole program.
Oh, awesome.
And man, I'm funny too. You know?
Wim Hof, the Iceman
we
comedian.
are funny, but the serious foundations.
Yeah.
It all began with my wife dying, a suicide, jumping from 8 stories down.
Wow.
You know, how much is your terror inside the head that you cannot live and you decide it's better to go down after kissing your kids goodbye? Kids like 6 years up to 12 years old, you kiss them goodbye and at 2 o'clock in the morning, you decide to jump from 8 stories down. How far, how deep can we go? That is where I got left behind, heartbroken, in agony, not understanding. Nobody to have this consolation, to feel real relief. Cold water did it. Cold water, in cold water, you don't think, you survive. You become stronger than your thinking brain. You get out of your thinking brain. It's exactly what I needed. I was heartbroken. That is outside of your thinking brain, your emotion, your trauma. And at that moment, there is no thinking. There is healing taking place. There is a relief. And it opens up, and that gave me the healing. I just needed a moment of relief. It was done by the cold water. The breathing does it as well. And now we know all the science that goes paired with that. Because they found out, the cardiologists, they found out that this breathing coming from the cold is what you do when you go into the cold. You learn to breathe deep, and I cultivated that. And now they are doing cardiological research because they found out that the deep contraction through the breathing is done because the carbon dioxide goes down, pH goes up. That means your vascular system, which contains millions of little muscles, 125,000 kilometers inside, everybody of us, millions of little muscles suddenly contract extremely. And then when you do the breath hold, like you guys did today, then you are able to say 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, without air in your lungs. That is profound, so much that there is a mechanism they never had seen in cardiology ever before, that 5 times more blood is being flushed into the heart and into the brain at that moment. And it was all controlled. You can do this controlled on a sofa in bed. And you know what happens? Deep contraction, deep opening. Every trauma has a cardiovascular imprint. So when a trauma happens, you know, in an accident, you don't know what's happening, but it's happening anyway. So it gets an imprint on your vascular system, your cardiovascular system. It stores adopted trauma. And then, because of these breathing exercises, extremely contraction, extremely opening, you are shaking off the trauma. This is what we have found out in psychiatry. This is what we have found out in these researches I did in brain scans. And then they said, we now have the compelling evidence of the key components of the autonomous processes in the brain. Autonomous, like emotion, deep emotion, you cannot get a hold of it. Now we got the key components of those processes of the emotions and trauma to regulate your mood. We found the key. It's breathing. That's why I always say, breathe, motherfucker. But
He said it.
back then, I did not know.
Yeah.
Back then, I did not know. I had to find something because society goes as a fast train. If you don't hold on to the train, you're going to lose it. And I was there just with 4 kids, no money. You know?
Yeah.
And through the cold and through the breathing, I found so much energy. I could share it with my kids, and no money, nothing, but a lot of happiness, a lot of strength, a lot of health, and my kids know it. They are working now with me. They are big now, and we got a company that is global. 100 million people are doing this, and in 1.5 years, we're going to change the world. We're going to show autonomy is back where it belongs, inside the people. We're going to bring the tools. That's why we came together to share that with you. And listen, the gravity of it all is, it works. This works.
It does, yeah.
And here it is.
For sure.
That's love.
So, Wim, you know the breathing exercises. Can you explain to our audience and listeners what they are, just in case they haven't heard of it? Or
It is
seen?
very simple. These breathing exercises are actually very basic and simple. That is the simplicity of it. The genius of it is that it is so simple. It is accessible, very powerful and effective, and scientifically endorsed for everybody. So within a half hour, you can experience it all yourself. You can get into the autonomic nervous system, which was considered to be not accessible. You can get into your immune system and into deep mood regulation. You want to get a hold of that all? Then buckle up, guys, because we got the tools. And we are showing this to the world, showing it to you, that it is not difficult, not complicated. It's there. It's for you to take on. How? We got this. You can share it with. We got a breathing bubble, and it's like 42 million times downloaded, and people just use it, you know, and it's for free, and it's very developed. And you can track down your results. And hey, man, how about staying for 2-3 minutes without air in your lungs? What do you think? That is deep, becoming the alchemist. You in your own body, in your mind. It's all flesh, it's all blood, it's all neurology. And you are able to profoundly influence therein. How do you do it? Just breathe, motherfucker. And like,
I love it.
It gets me every time. I love it.
What happens now
Yes, go on.
is carbon dioxide goes down, pH levels go up.
Yes.
We saw that in the university in the blood.
Yeah.
It's amazing. 20 minutes of doing this, and then after 30 times, like lying on the sofa or in bed, and if you got a hangover, then the hangover is going to get a hangover. You're going to detoxify yourself within 20 minutes doing this. It's amazing.
So, boys, this morning you done the breathing. Well, we all done the breathing exercises.
Yes.
Can you explain to the viewers how you felt after doing that and what you were able to do?
Yeah, so, I mean, look, go on, Klein.
No, you go.
Well, do you know what? There was like a few different sort of techniques that we used. Well, they've done the breathing and the breathing techniques and what have you, and there's a few different outcomes which we could physically see the difference. So for argument's sake, this morning, we tried lifting this giant boulder, and it was so heavy that we couldn't get it off the
More
ground.
than 100 kilos
Wow.
is
More than
heavy.
100
Yeah,
kilos.
yeah.
And then we basically went through the breathing techniques with Wim, where it was deep breaths. So breathe in, breathe out. You go through a course of those, and you do 10 deep breaths in and out. Then, as I've exhaled, I've just picked up this rock.
Will you hold your
and
breath?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I've
that
inhaled.
was the fascinating thing for me, because
Sorry,
I think
my bad.
I've always been told, like, when you're doing exercising and you're doing reps, like, you breathe, but like, go onwards. Like,
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I took my last breath in, and then as I've breathed in, I've taken that deep breath. I just picked up the boulder, and I moved it to a height which I just wouldn't have been able to if I didn't use
got it
the
off the
technique.
floor,
I
big
got it
time.
off the floor, and that was an example of how the breathing techniques can help you be so much more successful in some type of way, you know. So in that way, it was being able to lift a very, very heavy rock. But yeah, talk about another one.
I think the one
when we
earlier,
were
when we were just laying on the mat and we was breathing. How long did we do, Wim? We must have done
25 minutes?
about 25 minutes of breathing, and honestly, after it, my whole body just felt like like my hands were tingly, my legs like felt tingly. I mean, Daryl, you said you felt like you was floating, didn't you?
My fingers, I weren't sure if they were on the floor or not.
Yeah. But like, more importantly, it was the way I felt afterwards. Like, you know, after getting off the mat and standing up and walking around and the tingles went, like, I just felt so energized. I felt so focused.
Really alert.
Yeah, alert's a great word.
Yeah.
And if we were going to do, I don't know what, like a brainstorm session or a creative session, I just feel like my creative juices were flowing at that time, which I think all of us find it quite difficult at times. Like, you kind of like go mind blank.
Yeah,
whereas
for
this,
sure.
it was like everything was just popping, and I'm definitely gonna be doing that in my daily routine now. It's like 20 minutes a day, right?
Yeah.
That's what I love about the cold as well,
Yeah.
because when you go into the cold, it forces you to breathe properly, because naturally you like when you first start going into the cold and you're struggling to have a breath, but that's where you've got to take control. You've got to breathe in deeply, breathe out fully, and what have you. And by doing that, you're obviously inhaling all the goodness, trapping that within your body, within your frame, and then just releasing. And by doing so, the benefits are unbelievable. And I think by going into the cold, it really trains you to breathe correctly.
Well said. When you
Breathe deeply.
take on deep stress,
Yeah.
you can handle it with your breathing.
Yes.
Through your breathing deeply, you can stay calm while being in the stress. So that also it goes for any other moment you have deep stress going on.
Yeah.
You get back to the breath,
Yes.
and you stay calm.
Yes.
You stay in control.
So when you say that, Wim, you're talking about, and it could be anything. It could be going through a trauma of losing a loved one. It could be being in a car accident, what have you.
An
But
anxiety attack.
Yeah.
an anxiety attack. Whatever
Yes.
that stress may be, just breathe.
Even minor
Yes,
stresses,
it's
though,
deep
guys.
breathing.
It's not
Yeah.
necessarily big traumas or necessarily big. It could be you've got some paperwork deadlines to hit for work.
Yeah.
that you're stressed over. No matter how big or small, this is something that you should be looking to do.
Yeah.
Whenever you become as a person who's working a lot with computers or something, a lot of CEOs tell me, and when at 2 o'clock I'm really sluggish in my brain, I do 20 minutes of breathing, I'm fresh like a chicken again.
Yeah.
So don't mind if you get mails and it says talk, then you know where it comes from.
And now, Wim, have you broken like 26 world records now? Is it 26?
Yes, 26. And yeah.
It's
Wow.
incredible.
What do some of them include?
I mean, 1 second. I feel like we need to clap that in.
Like 26 world records.
I just have...
I'm not going to stop with that. Eh?
What's the next one?
Yeah, the next one is going to be with 70,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Doing the breathing with 70,000 people. And you saw the horse dance we did?
Yes.
You know, that basic rhythm and all that we did. We're going to do that with 70,000 people in June.
Nice.
Whereabouts? Where are you going to do
Yeah,
that?
somewhere in is it England? Is it in the Netherlands? Belgium? Doesn't matter.
Wow.
It's going to be done by Defying.
Can we explain what the horse stance is to our viewers so they
Yeah.
understand what that is and why you do the horse stance and why someone would do it?
Yeah. The horse dance, for example?
Yes, because obviously we're just giving an
Yeah.
example of the horse stance and you're going to do that as a world record, which is phenomenal. But why would you use it? When do you use it? I know it's from when you come out of the cold, but if you can explain in a better...
but when you stand awkwardly like that,
Yes.
I actually learned it when I had no toilet and I had to do with so I had to start like that.
Yeah.
You got to find a way. That
Yeah.
was my way. No, not really. You know?
By the way, guys,
But
Wim,
it looks like a position.
yeah,
Yes.
Wim has a good sense of humour, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You got media taken out of context, probably.
Yeah.
Wim Hof learned the horse stance, standing up, doing a
Horse stance.
So yeah, to anyone who's kind of listening to this, the horse stance is basically standing with your feet kind of slightly wider than shoulder width apart. You bend your knees down.
anyone visual, here you go.
Wim's getting the visual there. So your feet are wider than shoulder width apart. Knees are bent. You bring your body, your ass, as it was, lower to the ground.
I've just looked and got a face full of his balls. You haven't got underwear on, have you?
They breathe at that moment.
And then you
Open air. Different ball game.
I think my explanation has gone out the window.
Cold.
Cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I think my explanation's gone out the window now. Anyway, you just rotate your hip, pull your arm from side to side, and that obviously gets the blood flow in and helps you warm
And
up,
the
right?
adrenal axis is being activated. You know, mostly is in the thighs.
Yes.
It's connected
Yeah.
to the adrenal axis. This is when you get out of the cave and you got to go find food or hunt or this or that. You move your legs.
Yes.
And mostly is done by the thighs,
The quads,
the
yeah.
biggest muscles.
Yeah.
So they are connected with the adrenal axis. So when you do this, you get power.
Yeah. And when you come out of the cold, do the horse stance because that helps regulate your body
Yes.
temperature and bring it back
Absolutely.
up. Amazing.
It was a guy in the questions and answers of one of the retreats I did, and he said to me, Wim, I see you drinking beer, and that intoxicates the liver. How can you explain? Hey man, if you have your control, you can take anything. I'm not a Puritan. I'm enjoying life, but I don't like. I don't have the enjoyments take me over.
Yeah.
When that happens, I say, "Hey, stop! I'm in charge here."
Yes.
Got you.
So, but I told the guy, you know what? I will show you what is control, real control. And in a half hour, I will go outside in the snow, barefoot, doing the horse stance for 3 hours.
Wow. 3
But
hours.
first, you need to get me a beer.
So you get
I
drunk
got a
before you
jar
do
of
it,
water.
and then you can't feel the cold.
And he went so fast, get me the beer.
Yeah.
And cluck, and went outside, did it for 3 hours. It's all
Wow.
on film. So
you
that
said-
is control.
That is unbelievable control. Now, you mentioned obviously doing, we've mentioned because obviously Kleiny just said it, but 26 world records.
Yes.
If you was to say like one or two which really stand out in your mind in terms of what, I don't know, that touch you the most out of the ones that you've done, what would you say?
Swimming under the ice.
Okay,
You
can
know,
you explain what that
a
was?
breath hold in your shorts beyond the polar circle, meter of ice, and then first you got to go down, and then you got to do these strokes.
Find the hole.
1 second. So
Breath hold.
we're talking like ice.
Ice.
How thick is the ice?
Like a meter.
A meter thick ice.
A meter thick ice. You
Is this
gotta
on a
go
lake?
down a lake, and then you got to go horizontally, like 50, 60, 70 meters. Breath hold, and there I lost the way because I froze my cornea on the way. I had no goggles on, and we are no seals. We are humans. These eyes are not built to go swim under ice water.
Yeah.
So how did you find the hole?
That's all I
need to hear.
laughing.
He knows how to find the hole.
That's what she said.
No ice hole.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Ice hole. Hey, I didn't say. I could have found my asshole down there, which is warm, kind of, you know. But it's not the way to get out.
Oh, amazing.
Maybe the way to get in.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, I lost it. I couldn't see the hole, which was on, say, 50 meters.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it. I went past on the right side. Apparently, I have a deviation to the right.
Yeah.
So I went on, strokes. Imagine after 50, 60 meters, having swum, doing strokes.
Oh, I'd have panicked.
Wow.
I'd have panicked.
No
but
panic.
This is the thing.
No
you don't
agony.
panic. Yeah. This
No
is the thing.
drowning. No feeling of all that. I just did 6 strokes every time.
Wow.
Takes a long time when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
down there after so many times already. And then after, I did over the 100 meters
Yeah.
under the ice, is when a diver came and took me by the ankle back to the 50 meter.
Wow.
That was so profound because I never felt the agony of drowning. I was in control.
Yes. Yeah.
And the last thing was that I had a tunnel vision. Only so much I could see. This was gone. The normal way of looking is that you see all this.
Yes.
You know? And the blur I saw. I couldn't see the hole and couldn't distinguish. But then I saw only this much I could see.
That's crazy.
And then I swam a couple of strokes more and I lost it. I went into a subconscious state. And then somebody took me. I was sort of conscious, but I had no energy to be. He took me by the ankle, swam me back to the 50 meter hole, and there I came to the surface. And there, in that moment, I conquered the concept, our fear of death. Right there. It always is a split second. It's a realization which will change your life. And that realization came to me at that moment, right over there. That made that record so impressive. Because it was not only a record, it was a life-changing moment.
Yeah.
For you personally.
Absolutely. The fear of death is ridiculous, guys. Let me tell you. If you control your breath, death doesn't exist. You just and go.
It's deep.
Amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
No, amazing.
That is one of those records.
Yes.
Another one is.
Have you got one that's less traumatizing for me to hear? 'Cause I was a bit worried about you in that one. Have you got one which is maybe not as scary?
Yeah. Imagine yourself at 6,000 meters in your shorts in a whiteout.
Okay.
In a whiteout on Mount Everest.
Oh, wow.
And then you don't know the way there.
Right.
You are alone.
Yes.
And suddenly there is a whiteout, snow coming.
Yes.
And you can't see anything. And I was not familiar with the...
Like a blizzard.
Like a blizzard.
Right.
But I right there, in a moment like that, in your shorts, you would think, you would panic.
Yes.
Being a deep anxiety, losing control, and getting nothing like that.
No.
The crazy beauty of that is, in that moment, I found myself consciously, but I'm not in agony. I'm not in anxiety. I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let it. Okay. I just followed my gut. Go that way. 3 hours later, I came in advanced base camp, 6,400 meters. And the first was a tent with Tibetans. They must have seen a strange yeti coming out of the whiteout. They received me like a pilgrim.
Yeah.
You know, and then they gave me tea, and it was all okay. And then later I reunited with the international expedition.
Awesome,
Wow.
man.
Incredible story.
You find always incredible stories if you follow your heart. Have no fear. You will always come out better.
Love that. Did you set out to climb Kilimanjaro in 3 days with 26 people?
Yes.
With diseases? Can you like?
Yeah,
Talk to us about
we
that.
told the media
Yeah.
we were to go and to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, which is normally done between 5 to 9 days.
Yeah.
Fully dressed up, and then
Like
only
coats, everything.
coats, every layers.
Yeah.
And 5 to 9 days, and then 40% summits success rate.
Yeah.
We did 100% score, but we were to do it like in 3 days, and then in shorts.
Wow.
And then with people with cancer, Crohn's disease, arthritis, asthma,
Oh,
all
wow.
kinds of diseases.
All these
Yes.
people that done it with you.
20,
all
all 26 people.
all
Yes,
26
the
people.
oldest person was 65, and he had 4 coronary bypasses.
Wow.
They all believed. They
Yeah.
all were motivated. But
Yes.
then in the media, they were telling all these alpine experts, physiologists, doctors saying, this is irresponsible. People are going to die in 3 days, especially with people with conditions like that. People are going to die. It's lethal. So it's irresponsible, and we will not link up with this expedition. We didn't do it in 3 days, we did it in 2 days.
Wow.
And when we came back, I did not hear any of those physiologists, alpine experts, or doctors telling or asking, investigate, how did you pull it off?
Yeah.
They had no decency to follow up that what has been sworn by oath to investigate as a scientist, to know more. We pulled something off. They said physiologically, psychologically, is all impossible, is irresponsible, you cannot do that. And all these diseases they called, and that people were going to die and all. Nobody died, we did it in 2 days.
Wow.
And then from there, the last time I did it, the oldest person was 76 years old.
Wow.
He had no former experience in mountaineering. He did it with the disease of Lyme's disease, in 31 hours in his shorts.
Wow.
31 hours, the man did it. That what normally is done between 5 to 9 days, and only 40% summits fully dressed. This guy did it, 76 years old, no former experience in mountaineering. He was motivated. That was the difference.
Do you know what?
Motivated and breathe. As I say, breathe, mother.
This comes back to a conversation we was having the other day, and because Wim talks there about how everyone was so quick to push the narrative of a negative story, because a negative news flies so much quicker than positive. But as soon as he then proves these people wrong, does something good, those people that are trying to put you off of doing it and saying all the negativity don't come back around and say congratulations, well done, and spread that message, which they should be doing. Everyone's just so keen to spread the negativity, and it's such a shame.
Very good observation. And that it is. Mostly when people want to pull you back, it's because of self-interest.
Yes.
Because they cannot.
Because they can't win,
And they have no guts to go and do that. So once you do it, they are not there. Cowards.
Yes.
What do you say to like the disbelievers? Do you even care?
Disbelievers, you better believe this shit, because we're going to take over this planet with love, understanding, happiness, strength, and health. Hey, join us. It's all about love.
And all you got to do is breathe.
Just breathe.
All you got to do is breathe.
And go in the cold.
I think it's really important for everyone to know the Wim Hof method is so simple. It's got there's 3 cornerstones. It's mindset, it's cold, going into the cold, and it's breathing. It's very, very simple. Everyone can do it. Everyone's in control of those aspects and can find these things. It's just something that you need to look at embracing, I think.
Well, it's creating nature as your medicine, right? So pharmaceutical companies must be worried about you.
They should be worried about themselves. You know, unconditional love is the most wealthiest thing in the universe. Unconditional love, if you feel that, a happy man doesn't go to war. A happy man is not into possession. So pharmaceuticals who are living actually like almost parasiting on sick people. A healthy economy on sick people. That's what it is, pharmaceutical industry. I think it is because they don't know what is better than this. They have no alternative. And now there is an alternative.
And it's free.
Breathing. It's something you got within yourself. Not only the gut, you got it. got it also with God. You know, this divine being of yourself. You got it within your vicinity, here and now. Just breathe.
And it's free.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like you're so many people buy into these bullshit schemes of this is going to help you get fitter and healthier and take this supplement and this supplement. You're just telling people to breathe.
Yeah. I saw the Woody. Woody did about, I think, 80 push-ups.
He did, yeah.
He was saying,
I've never seen him do
25
10.
push-ups. He went like a cylinder. Motherfucker.
Thank you. Well, do you know what? It's like I mentioned before. I've been following your method for the best part of 2 years now, Wim, and that's been going into the cold and through the cold, breathing really well to regulate myself properly and what have you. I am now ready to move on to that next stage and do breathing techniques without having to go into the cold, because I know that there's so many amazing benefits, and I am going to continue to do it. You guys have come here and been blown away as well, and it's something we're going to incorporate into our working day as well together as a family. You know?
I would love to now.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't recommend it more, to be honest.
It's unbelievable.
As you see this,
Yeah.
that means you can do that in one afternoon as well.
It's life-changing.
Not even an afternoon. Within the half hour, you can see and feel. Feeling is the understanding. You can make that difference, and then you're going to adopt it because you're going to be motivated to feel so much better through these simple techniques. Just breathe.
Yeah.
What's your daily routine, Wim?
Just
Is it the same?
it all up every day.
I knew I was going to get a funny answer.
They say that a couple of days ago I had an interview. The interview was that, aren't you afraid for death? I think death is afraid of me.
Nice.
Read more.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what? No one's ever going to mess with Woody and Kleiny ever again. You know why? Because we got Wim Hof behind us.
Very musically talented as well. Got to say.
Yeah, 100%.
Wim was saying he's going to have an album come out. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that yet.
Oh, nice. Talk to us about the album.
Yeah. It's good for accompanying while doing breathing exercises.
Love it.
To go deeply within. It's not only me, it's also deep traditional tribal music.
Amazing.
All are beautiful who are in connection with nature.
Well, what was funny?
And then the right sounds come up.
You know, when we started doing the breathing techniques at the beginning, what you was getting us to do when we done the 25-minute thing, it was quiet for a bit, and then you started playing music, and I felt that when you was actually playing the guitar, playing the drums, and humming away, it just helped relax us as well. So having some form of music in the background
did make it easier, didn't it?
Was great. So
No,
I'm looking forward to that coming out.
Cool.
And we'll definitely be getting a copy of that ourselves so we can use it when we're doing our training.
Let it be a continuous story.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
100%.
We are bringing something good. This works, and we are here to share it. Just try it out once. If it doesn't work, blame me. Big time.
Yeah, but
We
you
can
won't.
handle it.
Wim, like with all the media around you now, there's bound to be some crazy stuff that is wrote about you. Some of it true, some of it may not. One thing I read is that you're willing to be injected with malaria.
With
is
the
that true?
E. coli bacteria
Okay.
or malaria. It's all the same thing. It
Right.
causes a deep inflammation.
Right.
And it's true. We did scientific research, comparative studies, and it has been published in the best of scientific papers of the world, wherein I showed how to bring down inflammation caused by the injection of a bacteria, E. coli, which can be lethal even. So it causes a deep fever, strong fever, chills over the back pains, headaches, nausea, vomiting, all that for 3 to 6 hours. It's a controlled experiment. And they did it with me. After 16,000 people who all became sick, suddenly injecting me, the E. coli bacteria became sick. Yes. Run away, doesn't ever want to come back. And how did I do it? Just breathe.
Amazing.
Just breathing in the hospital. And then they found out I was suppressing, through the breathing techniques, within a quarter of an hour, the inflammation caused by the E. coli bacteria.
Yes.
In all the 16,000, all became sick, not me. And then I said, hey, it's not only me, everybody can do this. Just breathe. And then they did it, and then it showed the people who were not doing the breathing being injected with the E. coli, fever, sick, agony, not nice, nausea, for 3 to 6 hours. And the guys who did the breathing techniques, 100% score, not sick.
Wow.
That changed fundamentally science. Because what is disease? Disease is caused by inflammation. The cause and effect of disease is inflammation. And the question is, can you bring down inflammation? Before, in science, medical science was considered to be not by humans, but a voluntary, willful action. It is possible to bring down inflammation. And now, through doing the breathing techniques, together with their will, they brought it down within 15 minutes, all of them. So there it is. This has changed fundamentally science, because we had all the data, the rigid data, blood samples and all, published in the best papers of the world. So it's there. Only it doesn't make money. It makes people healthy to bring down inflammation and depression, but it doesn't make money. So it is not implemented. That's why we are here talking like this, bringing it to you. Make yourself healthy. Make yourself able to regulate your own mood and full of energy. Do you want it? Look into this.
Yeah. It's unbelievable message, guys. And like, obviously there's different companies that are pushing different narratives because they can sell a product that can help you, as it was, but they don't push the breathing techniques and stuff like that. And the reason is, like Wim just said, is because you can't make money off of that. And that's what's really worrying, is that people won't spread a message of something like this because they can't make something from it financially. But I think it's just everyone should give it a go.
Also for the pharmaceutical directors. This is also for you. It must come from somewhere that you're fucking up the planet and the people. Why? Share love. Share your power with the people.
Coming away from that slightly, and a bit of a weird one, but I read it when I was doing a little bit of research, but is the cold water good for sex life?
It's an immunologist, a professor who's very good in the genes. And there's one gene, and it's responsible for virility. That's another way to get down Viagra and all that shit. That industry is going to go down with this. Because doing this breathing, one of the genes that spikes is the gene for responsible for virility. So you will probably be getting very horny. Real horny. Incredibly horny. Man. Great stuff, man.
I'm done. I'm finished. That was amazing.
Hey, any problems sexually? You do this.
Really?
It's like when you made love, even then, after you
Not
made
in the water. Not in the water.
And all that, and you think you're exhausted, you do the breathing a little, like 5-6 minutes. You like to go again.
Round 2, baby.
On it like a rabbit.
I'm back.
Surprise.
It would surprise you how many times you can go with that one.
I also read that you can get boners on demand.
Yeah, oh yeah. That is the
one second.
power of the mind.
Oh, 1 second.
Get a boner and be kind.
Boner and be kind.
1 second. I'm not having. One sec, Wim. When you go into the ice water, you can still do that.
Yeah, I'm a scientist, sort of, investigator.
But that's really interesting because, like, the cold water, obviously, it's normally shrinkage time, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but not if I'm so horny. You get the horny of the cold water, and then it shrinks. It shrinks to fit.
Yeah. I've never laughed so much on a podcast. I mean, that's brilliant. Has anyone else got any, like...
Do you know what? The last thing, it might be a good way to kind of almost wrap this up. If I was to say to you, Wim, what is the end goal? Like, you've got obviously the Wim Hof method, you're doing what you do. What is the end goal for everything that you kind of...
Seriously, I set out a goal. And that is to change the world through the heart. By bringing autonomy to the people. And it sounds like ridiculous, but hey, man, look into the world, and then you see what real ridiculousness is. I am just determined. I rise as a man, seeing that there is so much misery, so much depression, so much agony going on, so much confusion. I'm going to end it by bringing, through science and through sense, through Hollywood and through BBC, through all kinds of documentaries and scientific proof, within 1 year and 4 months, I will reach billions of people within their heart through understanding, doing these techniques, bringing, realizing the autonomy they have, the deep potential awakening within them. We saw it today, and that is going to happen if you take it on. Just spread the good news that the autonomy, your beautiful mind, your love, and your soul is coming. Because we are going to do that.
And that is a drop mic moment and a great way to end the podcast.
Yeah, I think there's only one way to really end it, and it's to have Wim play us out.
He can play us out.
Can you play us out on the WAK Chat podcast?
As Wim's playing us out as well, I just want to say, everyone, thank you so much for obviously tuning in. There may be some new viewers who are tuned in today as well. If you have, make sure you subscribe. Also, go across to our Patreon if you don't know much about that yet. Go across there and subscribe if it interests you. We've got lots of bonus content over there. It's been amazing. Thank you so much to Wim for having us over at his retreat for the day. We've had an awesome time. Check out some of his stuff, the Wim Hof method, and here he is playing us out.
Let's go, Wim.
Quisiera saber porque tú me has dejado tanto tiempo. Together we have come to be there forever. It is the soul, alright. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is emotion. We shared that in the light of one afternoon. So no doubt no more, gone to the innermost core. It's fuego interior. Da, 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 da.
Wim Hof.
Hey. Wim, Spuds, man. Thanks so much for being on.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is a wrap.
Hold on.
I think death is afraid of me.
Hold on.